Hey folks, how's everybody doing today? This is Tim Taylor here, host of the podcast Tireless and founder CEO of Red Star Services Inc. Listen, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of folks out there that are really scared, a lot of folks that really kind of worried about this epidemic, this COVID 19, what's going on out and around the world right now. Listen, we are on the verge. I'm going to tell you, we're on the verge of a change in human society. I've been talking about it the last couple days with some close friends of mine, folks I have conversations with on a regular basis. You're going to start seeing some things change. A lot of these companies that employ large numbers of employees, you're going to start seeing, they're going to realize something. They're going to realize that remote work works for them. They're going to realize that their employees can be at home and still get the job done. We're already seeing it. We're seeing social media take over when it comes to networking for small businesses and for large businesses. We're watching platforms such as BNI and Rockstar Networking. They're all switching to a virtual network meeting. And the more we see this, the more often folks are coming out of the workplace, so to speak, but still staying in it. Large corporations are going to start realizing that they don't need to spend money on brick and mortar facilities. They don't have to have hundreds of people crammed into a room, into a call center, pay that money out in that facility maintenance, pay that money out in rent, when they can just as easily and for a lot cheaper set up in their employees' homes remote workstations. Get them a phone, get them a laptop, get them the software so they can still link into the system, and you're going to see that productivity remains pretty consistent. I know this isn't going to help every business out there, but it's something that I definitely think we're going to start seeing a lot more of. We were talking about it the other day. Myself and my buddy Donnie, we were on the phone. We were discussing some things. Also, I was in person talking with two friends of mine, Carlos and Gary. We were discussing how human society is going to come out of this completely changed from where we went into it. It's happening quickly. It's going to happen very fast over the course of the next couple of weeks, and you know it is what it is. It's how humans adapt to things. It's how it happens in society in history. A major event takes place. We come out changed. This is our turning point. This is the turning point of our generation. Those of us who are 40, 30, 20, hell, even 50, 60, we're going to come out of this with a completely different outlook on life and a completely different outlook on how to conduct business, how to handle things. Folks that travel for a living, they travel 200, 225 days a year in order to go from business to business, meeting to meeting. They're going to be able to stay at home now and be able to do this virtually. They're going to be able to do their job virtually instead of having to crowd an airport in order to go out, get a hotel room, travel around the country just to shake hands with somebody. It's going to become much more commonplace to do a virtual handshake in order to close a business deal. It's been happening slowly over the last 10, 15 years. But this event, this COVID 19, this coronavirus that everybody's experiencing, the world is experiencing, it's going to rapidly accelerate what we're seeing happen around with business. Um, so yeah, these are my thoughts. This is what I'm thinking about. This is while I'm stuck at home. I can't go out and do my normal networking rounds that I normally do. But these are the types of thoughts that I'm coming up with. Something else that we're going to see. These massive layoffs that are about to occur, if they haven't already started, a lot of small businesses are not going to survive this no matter what the government tries to do in order to stimulate the economy, in order to help small businesses survive. You're going to see a lot of small businesses that are closing the doors permanently. Those employees are going to need work. So if you are out there and you are in the job hunt, you need to be taking this time real quick to brush up on your resume. Get that resume so it's stellar. Get your LinkedIn profile set up and ready to go because you are now in a competition. For the last several years, we've looked at an economy and a job market that the employee has kind of dictated everything within the hiring process. The that candidate that's coming in, there have been more jobs than workers. So we're now looking at that reversing very quickly, very short term turnaround, where you're going to have companies that are just inundated with resumes and candidates for a few positions. Now, this is going to cause a lot of stress and a lot of heartache and a lot of pressure around the country as people are being turned down for jobs that they probably could perform, but because instead of being one of 3 or 4 candidates, they're now one of 3 or 400 candidates, they're no longer able to stand out from the pack the way that they used to, because the pack's gotten that much bigger. On the flip side of that coin, you're going to start seeing some businesses that are really struggling with their hiring procedures. You're looking at companies that have gone from, hey, yep, this is a good candidate for this position, let's hire him right now, to, holy cow, I've got 100 fantastic candidates. How do I sift through them? How do I get the best of the best out of this huge stack of candidates, of these resumes, these applications that I'm looking at? So we're in a state of flux right now, folks, and the whole world is going to change. How we do business is going to change. How we get jobs and how we perform those jobs are going to change. And I just wanted to get out there and say, it's going to be okay. A lot of people might be getting some anxiety about what I'm saying right now. If you're listening in, you're starting to get a little anxious. Listen, I'm not just here screaming doom and gloom. I'm not saying doom and gloom at all. In fact, I'm saying change. You have to embrace change. Change is not always comfortable, but you have to embrace it, and you have to move forward, because we as a society are getting ready to have a major change. But don't worry, we're all going to come out of this. We're all going to come out on top, because that's what we do. You look at historically, you take a look at some major events that have occurred. We're talking about going all the way back to the Renaissance, going back to the Industrial Revolution. We're talking about things that absolutely impacted every human being on the planet. This is another one of those events. And if you don't think that it is, if you think, oh, well, this is just made up malarkey coming from the government, no, it's not. There are people that are getting sick. People have this disease without even knowing about it. They have this illness. They don't even know about it. We're seeing it now where people are testing positive and they've had absolutely no symptoms. All right? It's been happening. And if you think that this is going to go away and that this is going to just stop one day, yeah, it may happen that way. But you know what? As a society, we are going to see a fundamental change. It's just how it has to be, because it is. We are social creatures. We are going to have to meet up face-to-face at some point, because that's what we are. But at the end of the day, when we can get on the camera and talk to you all and hear you all, and we can have an argument, or we can have a conversation, or we can have a business conversation, or we can come to an agreement, this is how it's going to be done moving forward. You're going to see a lot of it. A lot of businesses are going to change their business model, or they're going to shift their business model from that face-to-face to having a virtual connection with their clientele, simply because it's easier. You don't run the risk of getting somebody sick. The travel costs, the brick and mortar costs, all of these things are going to just stack on top of each other. And when the business owners, the bean counters within these companies look at all the numbers and they say, hey, you know what? Why are we spending this much money on travel and hotels and brick and mortars? Why are we spending all this money on this when I can put salesman A, salesman B, salesman C in their own room, in their own house, with their own setup, and they can still get business done? You're going to see it happen, folks. Just hold on to your hats, because it's going to be a fun ride. All right, so once again, this is Tim, host of Tireless Podcast, as well as owner, operator, founder, CEO of Red Star Services, Inc. We are here to help you with your recruiting needs, as well as any and all social media marketing needs. Please reach out to us. Let us know if we can help. You're in a situation right now where you need help. We're here to help. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great rest of your day.